Senior Home Business Channel. I'm so glad you're here. Today we've got Brittany from Texas talking about the senior referral business. And I just want to have a conversation with her today about her business. What does it take to be successful? What would it take for you to be successful if you decide to get in this industry and all that good stuff? So Brittany, welcome. I'm glad you're here, and I'm looking forward to talking to you about the senior referral business.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for having me.
So you're from Texas, but you also have two agencies, right? You have one in Texas, one in Missouri. Explain to me how all that came about. I know your mom is part of that, and just kind of give me the particulars, how you got started in the industry and how you got to where you are today. It's amazing what you've been doing. So I don't want to dive into the goods, but kind of give me how you got started.
Yeah, definitely. So it's kind of ironic. So I'm from Missouri originally. Then I moved to Texas with my husband now after I graduated college. So I had posted on Facebook that I was starting an agency in Texas, literally and everybody on my Facebook is from Missouri, not Texas, because I have no one here. So they were like, oh my gosh, like that's great what you're doing in Texas, but my mom or my aunt or my grandma needs help. Can you help me in Missouri? And I was like, yeah, I guess I can figure it out. So the leads just kind of came to me. And then I just said, well, my intention was not to start in Missouri and Texas in the same time, but I did. So I flew out to Missouri, spent a few weeks there helping the current leads that I had. And then I also started just marketing in general. I took a few flights out there weeks at a time, just, hit the boots on the ground, hit the ground running, and got my connection started. And then my whole family's in Missouri, so getting a lot of word of mouth from that. And then I brought my mom on board, and now she is kind of the boots on the ground when I'm not in Missouri, but I do handle all clients, Missouri and Texas, for the intake. And I'm still here.
That's so awesome. I love the family involvement. I love that you took the initiative on your own, and you and Trey were engaged at the time, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Just before you were married, and you guys did a joint venture, and then you brought your mom on at some point. And so you kind of saw the big picture, how you can do this business, not only in your local city, but you can also work in a different state altogether. That's amazing.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. So tell us a little about your January month. Now, I know every month in this business is not always the same. One thing, full disclosure, I want people to understand in this business, it's not a get rich quick business, you guys. The beautiful thing about the whole business is helping a senior at no cost, no obligation. And we do make a great amount of money on the back end, but it does have its ebb and flows, right? I mean, we do have months that are just unbelievable, and we have months that, are still unbelievable. It's relative. I mean, at least for my 8 to 5 jobs I've done before, I mean, my bad months are still a lot better than that, but still it goes up and down. But tell me a little bit about your January, and then how's it been, Brittany, for the last year about your business?
Yeah, so we did a lot of moves in January. That's typically not like Matt's agency. That's his worst month. That's my best month. And has been since I've been in the industry. I guess following the holidays, we get a lot of families that call us, just maybe realize that mom, dad, grandma, grandpa weren't as independent as they thought when they were on the phone with them, and when they see them in person and spend the whole day with them, or just in general, you're around families a lot more in the holidays. So we get bombarded. So it was, you build a pipeline in sales, no different in this business. So it was some families that had kind of wanted to wait past the holidays. So I was working on a few of them before January came around, but then I also got hit the day after Christmas. My phone was ringing off the hook. So it was kind of like a pipeline build, as well as they were kind of funneling over into January. But yeah, we did one of the best months that we've done. We were up into, around 60. We did, I think, 14 moves off the top of my head. And we
beautiful. That's awesome.
So we doubled. I would say our best month before that was around 38,000. So that was kind of where I stood income wise for that. And that averages, depends on the move. Some independent living moves, some all the way to high levels of care. So it just depends on the income per move. But they were all very busy. It was a very busy month, but it was a great month and super rewarding. All of the families got great places for their loved ones. So it was really rewarding.
I love it. I believe, Brittany, correct me if I'm wrong, you've been in the business now for 2.5 years. Is that
almost
right?
4? I'm right at 4.
Almost 4? I've always told you I'm bad with time. I guess I really am. I guess
almost 4.
Almost 4. That's crazy. And so, people getting into any business, whether they're looking to buy a franchise or just do anything out there, they always wonder about the ROI, right? I do. I always ask the question, okay, if I want to invest in something, how quickly can I get that money back? And again, what I said earlier, I always tell people this is not a get rich quick business. even though I don't mind getting rich quick. I don't mind doing that at all. I mean, that's cool. But, you need to have a heart for seniors, need to have a heart for this business. Those individuals I see are more successful than anyone out there because in this business, and Brittany, correct me if I'm wrong, it's really not a sales position. It's more customer service oriented. Is that right?
Yeah, 100%. I never feel like I'm selling ever. I mean, it's more of like, I like to call us sometimes I mean, we're not social workers, but we play that role to an extent. We're there for the family through, if there's disagreements between the family, it's not so much just finding a place. You're there to be their one-stop shop to guide them through this more so than just picking out an apartment and find out that's the best fit. It's more so really the customer service role that you play, almost a therapist, almost like what I like to call myself sometimes, is to really look at the big picture, not just here's an apartment, this is what they offer, because anybody could do that. So it's more so the person that you're their sounding board through the whole thing. Communities don't really have time to do that. They have 100 things going on. Marketing directors don't have time to sit with the family for hours on end going over things. Social workers at hospitals and rehabs don't either. So you're kind of that person that can take the time on a Saturday or, when people are out of the office to sit down with the family, compare costs, compare longevity, look at finances. So you're more of I never feel like I've sold anything. The only thing I could say, maybe I could say would be salesy or however you want to call it, is if like someone's looking at a 1-bedroom and that they can afford a 2-bedroom and they want a 2-bedroom, that would be like the only thing.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
it would be like when you're like, yeah, maybe that would be a better fit. But other than that, like when it comes to the care portion and actually helping these families, it's not a sales role. And I think if you approach it that way, people will not appreciate that in this industry, whether it be the families or your connections that you work with on the other end.
Absolutely, Brittany. When talking about working with seniors and all the things you do, give us a success story. Meaning, like, what I mean by success story is how you help a senior. Because most of the seniors that come to me, they've fallen at some point, went to the hospital, went to rehab, and then I'm able to come along and help them make that transition from a short-term rehab to a residential care home or a large community. But tell us a little bit of a success story. Some stories kind of fresh on your mind where, maybe a family just was at their wits' end. They didn't really know how to handle the situation because it's all new to them, right? They've never been through it. Maybe they have a friend or relative that they kind of heard about going through the situation, but they more than likely don't have a clue about the process. So just tell me a success story, something that you experienced last year sometime or recently that you can share with us.
Yeah, have a ton. So that's a good thing. So I would say, yeah, typically my referrals are someone that has fallen. Let's say, unfortunately, they had a stroke there's a lot of reasons why, COVID still unfortunately is hanging around, or pneumonia. It could be anything. And then maybe just the hospital stay exasperated, any kind of pre-existing condition. So that's why they have to make that move. It was kind of on the cuff. And now they think, yeah, it's time to make the move. But 90% of my families probably have no clue what they're looking at. And it's a very fast discharge. They're hit with what are the different levels of care? What are the finances look like? Like they're hit in 73 hours on, they have to make a decision. So I would say, I'll give you kind of a different example. So usually we get families that are in that place where they don't even know where to look. Now they're on Google. Now they're searching all these places. They all say the same thing. So yeah, we get a lot of that. And then we kind of start from the beginning. But I do have a family that actually went on their own before me, kind of a unique situation. Didn't know that I existed. They had deposited at 7 different communities. So they had spent that much time depositing, touring, you name it, for all these big, large, beautiful, nothing against them, but these big communities that his dad could afford. There was no budget constraints. He could go anywhere in the area with no problem. However, I got a call from the hospital that he was set on this one community. Come the day he was supposed to move in, they denied him. They denied his for a wound. I think it was a wound. And I knew that community wouldn't have accepted that wound if I would have had that referral, from the start. So I talked to the son. The son's an FBI agent. Like, it was such a cool case that he was so nice, so cool, super down to earth, great guy. And he just said, I have wasted almost 45 hours straight touring, depositing, writing checks. Some he won't get back. And I said, okay, well, what's important to your dad? Let's kind of see what's really important to your dad. If he's not going to participate in the bar and the happy hour and the bowling alley and all this great stuff, let's not put him somewhere that has that. If they won't take him and they're so big, they can't care for his needs. He has a wound. So I took him to the one place, and he unfortunately called he didn't do this on his own. he called our favorite people, our places that are the big companies.
Our favorite people, Brittany. Come on. That's
Our
right.
favorite people. So he had gone through them. So they were giving him the high end, really expensive communities because that's the budget that he had. I understand why they did that. From a business aspect, they gave him the best of the best in the area. However, I brought him to a 42 person, amazing care. It is the best community in the area for care. Yes, it's not pretty, like super pretty with chandeliers and stuff, but that's all his dad needed. He walked in, we made it 10 steps in. He said, where is, and we toured with the administrator, not a marketing director. It's the person that runs the building.
Wow.
He said, yeah, he said, where is the paperwork? We were 10 steps in the building and he said, this is where my dad needs to be. We hadn't even seen the room and he's doing amazing. It gives me chills. He's doing amazing. I just saw him. So this is kind of unique. And it wasn't a sense that he didn't know the process. He had been through it 7 times plus, but we picked up the pieces and got him to the right place and he's doing great. I just saw him a couple weeks ago. So.
Oh, it's an amazing story, Brittany. I love how you're so thorough through this. I mean, that's one of the, we're going to talk about qualities and things that people need to have to be successful in this industry. But for you personally, I mean, I love how you spend quality time with families. You always put yourself in their shoes. You're very empathetic. You just help them, like, hey, that's my only family, which I know the amount of business you're doing, that's not your only family, but the family you're working with doesn't really know that. They don't get to feel that, okay, Brittany's just trying to give me a couple minutes and run off to the next one. You're so thorough about that. And so, yeah, well, let's get into that. What are some of the, think about the qualities and skills. I always teach, to be successful in anything, it's mindset, skill set, tool set, and it's the habits that go around those 3 factors. But just focusing on the skill set of an individual, the qualities of a person, what do you think are important for an individual to have to be successful in this industry?
Yeah, I think patience is a really good one. You have to be patient with not only the families, but your connections, your referral agreements, like all part of this business is kind of patience. You might have a placement that you think's happening, and this is a very emotional time for families. So you might think someone's moving on Monday. They call you on Sunday and say, nope, we're waiting. We're going to wait a couple weeks. There's a lot of patience that has to be had. If you have a family with 5 siblings that are all trying to make it, a decision, it could be all over the place. So I think patience is probably 100% key. You have to be empathetic. You have to really care for seniors. If you don't, I don't think this is something you'll enjoy. I think it'll be a short-lived, and I understand why it's not for everyone. So understanding that these are people's lives, it's not like even a real estate move, so to say, it's always not happy. I would say most of the moves are not full of joy, unfortunately. Sometimes they are, but usually they are after the move, but during the process. So you have to just be empathetic, understand where the family's coming from. And I think just being able to be a sponge. I know you say that, soak up when you're getting into this industry, take information from everyone that you can, like really just not fake it till you make it, so to say, but like really just pick up everything that you can when you're with families, when you're with tours. I mean, I have learned even just in the last month, probably 10 things I didn't know the month before. So every family will have its challenges. And then at that point, you just learn as you go. So I think just being open to learning, patience, and then being really empathetic and just really care for seniors because they'll give you a run for your money. So
absolutely. And I appreciate that too, Brittany, because you think of a senior, at least most of the seniors I have helped and assisted, they don't want to move, right? There's been a couple that really wanted to move because their spouse passed away. They were living in a large house and they really were desiring to get to an independent community amongst other seniors. But when you get to especially assisted living, memory care, I don't know of any senior out there that's just jumping for joy, ready to go. I know my own life. I'm 55 and, I tease about this, but, I get to be of that age, 85 plus, whatever it may be. My kids are going to come by and pick me up and say, hey, Dad, let's go for some ice cream. And then they're going to drop me off somewhere, but I tease about that. They're not going to do that. However, I really don't want to go anywhere and I'm in the business. And so I think when reality sets within us to be a good referral agent, like you're doing, you're empathetic toward people because you understand that they really don't want to do this. It's a major change in their life. Seniors moving is very traumatic, but also what goes through their mind is this could be my last place. And this might very well be my last resting place. And so it's at the end of the chapter kind of feeling. I think in terms of graduation, they graduate to assisted living, but we know it's decline. So you need to be empathetic. I totally agree with you, Brittany. And you need to be a person that has a heart as big as Texas, where you're from, man. That's why you're good in this business. You have a heart as big as Texas, and you're able to help people. So, well, Brittany, I really appreciate you coming on today and just sharing your heart for a few minutes with our audience. And I love my students. We have students in 34 different states now. And I look back at your journey, which I thought was 2.5 years. I guess it's been 4 years. I'm glad you told me that. And I'm just overjoyed at the expansion of your business and your desire to see seniors assisted in the right way. And I mean the right way, because we know we don't talk about the name on Senior Home Business Channel here, but the national company out there that will just try to get people to get their information online, and then it becomes a telemarketing game. 30 different communities are calling the senior or their family. Hey, we got the best pool, we got the best care, we got the best food, whatever it may be. And Brittany, that's so far from what we do, isn't that right? We don't do that, do we?
At all. No, we pick up the slack from the people that have gone through that. I mean, the sad part is not only are they getting bombarded, a lot of them never get the help they need. So we do the complete opposite of that. I mean, at least how I run and you run, it's more so like we become part of their family. Like, for example, I just got an edible arrangement sent to my house yesterday it wasn't even a referral. This was a referral that she had already called everywhere, but I never deny anybody. And I worked it in. Her dad unfortunately passed away, and she thought of us when he passed away. So that just shows, like, if you really do it for the right reasons, you'll get, it's so rewarding. I mean, that's one part that we didn't talk about. If you really love this job, it's the most rewarding job will ever have. If you really have.
Absolutely. I totally agree. Once you get a taste of this, and once you actually help a senior move, it warmed my heart. I remember my first resident. She had dementia. She was living in a mobile home unit. Her family was in Arizona. They contacted me. My wife and I went and met with the resident and their family at her mobile home. And that was my first client. And I remember, because that lady she was so impressed with what we were saying. I don't know why. It was my first client. I don't know how impressed she could be, but she was so super, excited that we were there. And she kept offering me money on 2 different occasions. I need to pay you. I said, no, man, we don't take any money. That's the beautiful thing about this business, right? We don't charge seniors. We get money on the back end from communities, from the RCFE communities and the management groups. But anyway, long story short, this lady ended up going to her kitchen. She comes back to the living room. She goes, well, if you can't take money, you can take one of my chocolate chip cookies. Oh. And I went, okay. I'm a big fan of chocolate chip cookies.
Yep. So. Yeah. You'll have, families, even that they know we get paid on the back end, they'll beg to pay us for our time because, anyway. So, just help everyone, no matter what. It comes back tenfold regardless. That's one of the challenges in the business, is being that first person for the referral. But at the end of the day, it's never steered me wrong, just by making sure even having a conversation with someone is so worth it. You can help a lot.
Absolutely. Well, Brittany, again, thanks so much for coming on today. I really appreciate you and the senior home business family out there. I just want to, if you are looking to get into a career, whether on a part-time level to start off with, or on a full-time level, maybe you're just sick and tired of your job. You just want to do something different. You want to work from home. You want something that's rewarding. You want something that's going to bring in a lot of money. I'm not going to be shy about it, that it is a lot of money in this industry. But as Brittany alluded to earlier, the whole basis of doing this business should be someone that's empathetic toward other people. And in my experience, at least, that's who I see being most successful. The ones like Brittany and others that are saying, hey, I'm giving my time to seniors, regardless of the money, right? We don't chase the money just follows. But that's it. So if you want more information, just click the link below. We'd love to have a conversation with you. Watch a 15-minute webinar. You can hear me talk about this business for 15 minutes. Hopefully you won't fall asleep. There's other videos on this channel you can watch, and you can reach out directly to me. My number's probably down below somewhere. So thanks again. Thanks for being here, and I'll talk to you soon.